Hello everyone, and as you know, Pikmin 3 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch was just announced, and let me tell you, this is a huge deal, especially for the Pikmin fandom. It has been such a long time since we've had the last bit of Pikmin news. The last time we heard from Pikmin was from Hey Pikmin from the 3DS, and let's just say that is not what fans wanted in the slightest. It was complete disappointment, but it did have some fun ideas in there. However, with the release of Pikmin 3 Deluxe comes a new wave of content. So for this video, I'd like to discuss what the possibilities of the Pikmin franchise are with this release of Deluxe. So as you know, the game is set to be released on October 30th, and honestly, that date specifically kind of scares me because that is the fall to December season, and when those two kind of interlap, we usually get a huge release schedule of colossal big hitting games, and especially with the PS5 and Xbox Series X releasing, I'm afraid that Pikmin 3 Deluxe will be drowned out. Now, why is that a big deal? Why is it a big deal that Pikmin 3 Deluxe might not sell as well as Nintendo would want? Well, here's my theory. Pikmin has never been a franchise known to sell extraordinarily well. Compare it to the big hitters of Mario and even Kirby, Zelda, Fire Emblem, it doesn't really stack up compared to them as far as making money goes. So if Pikmin 3 Deluxe flops, I don't see Nintendo being in any rush to release Pikmin 4, and that's the game we're waiting on. Pikmin 4 has been described to have been close to releasing for years now. It feels like ever since 2016, 2017 that they're saying Pikmin 4 is near complete. When Miyamoto said that, we expected to see the game a bit earlier, but here we are years later after he said that, and we have no new information on Pikmin 4. However, if Pikmin 3 Deluxe does sell well, I can see Nintendo making Pikmin 4 a priority in development, where they see like, hey, people really responded well to Pikmin 3 Deluxe, so let's get Pikmin 4 out already. And not that we're trying to rush it or anything, like the game's almost been done for years, right? So I don't think it's a rush or anything. It's more like, hey, the environment seems ready for a Pikmin 4. So since this environment is so flourishing for the Pikmin franchise, let's release this new heavy hitter. And I honestly believe if they keep supporting the Pikmin franchise on the Switch until the release of Pikmin 4, I'll be extraordinarily happy. Imagine getting a re-release of Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2, having those games released as ports or even better HD remasters. That would be mind-blowing. If we got that like every year, if Pikmin 4 came out in 2022, that'd be amazing. Because think about it, if in 2020 we get Pikmin 3, 2021, we get Pikmin 1 or 2, or both, and then by 2022, we get the release of Pikmin 4, that is a decent hype train until release. And that is even more years added to the backlog they have on development. So I don't think they'd even be rushing the game out at that point. However, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here, because this is about Pikmin 3 Deluxe and what it will bring to the Switch. Those are just some of my concerns about how it will do, if it does well or poorly, because I really do think this is a landmark title. Just think of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's sold over 10 million copies on the Switch, and that is a re-release, a port, with barely anything new added. However, let's ask the question of what makes Pikmin 3 Deluxe? Because at least Mario Kart 8 added some new characters, a brand new battle mode, and all the DLC. Does Pikmin 3 Deluxe fall on the Mario Kart 8 side of content, or the Tropical Freeze side of content? Because as we know, Tropical Freeze literally just added Funky Kong. Like, we had a lot of memes like new funky mode, but it was a bit lackluster when you think about it. No new content or DLC was really included, just Funky Kong, and some may agree that that's all we need, but I think when you make a deluxe port, it should be deluxe. So far, Nintendo has released the statements on Twitter and on the descriptions of their YouTube videos that Pikmin 3 Deluxe will add a few new features actually, and brand new DLC we've never seen before, similar to Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore. That's a long name, but that game was very fun on Wii U, and the fact they brought it back with even more content was great. And it seems like that is the direction they're bringing Pikmin 3, and they're going that Mario Kart 8 direction, not the tropical freeze direction. So because this is a deluxe port, we have the new Piklopedia. It was from Pikmin 2, but it's new to 3. So that'll give you a cool rundown of many of the items in the environment, many of the creatures, specifically like Bulborbs or Borblaxes. And that's very cool because one of my favorite features in Pikmin 2 was looking through the Piklopedia, learning about the ecosystem of Pikmin. Not only was the Piklopedia added, but cooperative play for not only the bingo battle, but the entire main story of Pikmin 3. And to me, that is insane. That is so awesome because I remember when I had Pikmin 3, all I wanted to do was play with my sister, for instance. I always asked her, hey, do you want to play Pikmin? And all we would have to do is play the bingo battle, and I believe the mission mode, but it was mainly we just played the bingo battle. And while that was fun, it would have been so cool to have her play the main story with me. And now that isn't a dream anymore. Now for the Switch Deluxe Edition, the entire story can be played cooperatively, and that is such an amazing addition, and it's something that I hope carries over to future Pikmin titles. Although it is weird that there are 3 captains, but only 2 players to do co-op. Like, it would have been cool if they just had a 3-player co-op, but I understand that kind of no games do that. Like, no games do 3-player co-op only, like, as a selling point. They usually cap out at 2 or 4, and I guess in the Wii U's case 5, but that's usually how it goes, so I'm not too upset about it. But another great addition that comes with this is a better targeting, a better lock-on system that is just a slice of life type thing to make the game more enjoyable. Because for this game, we don't have the Wii U gamepad, we don't have the Wii remote, so for the Joy-Cons, which don't have the best gyro compared to the Wii U gamepad's magnometer or the Nintendo Wii sensor bar, the Joy-Con is a bit inferior when it comes to play in those regards. However, if Nintendo optimizes Pikmin 3 around the limitations, it could very well play acceptably. Like, Splatoon has a cool little sensor thing. Like, that's not the best example, but I think you guys know what I'm getting at. But above all, one of the biggest inclusions is a new prologue and epilogue missions for the main story. So, we're going to find out the reason of how Olimar got stranded on the Pikmin Island again, the world. The name is eluding me. It's like HKN37 whatever. Very by the weird numbers. But it is very interesting to think that we will be able to find out what actually happened. Because before we only had the log files from Pikmin 3, but now we'll have a whole story to play as Olimar and Louie, and we have an epilogue. So maybe in the epilogue, we'll have so much to explore after the fact. Maybe we'll go to Hocotate or the other, what, FNF 414 or something, or where Charlie and his team is from. Because that would be very cool to see how those worlds work and experience instead of just staying on the same planet like we usually do. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just great to see more variety in the Pikmin franchise. And hey, maybe we'll even get a solution as to what the golden blob creature and its obsession with Olimar was. I think this added prologue and epilogue is very, very... I think the added prologue and epilogue will just make this a true deluxe port of the game instead of just a simple tiny, instead of the small tiny additions that they typically do, if you understand what I'm trying to say. But here are some more additions that I personally would have liked added. So I'm not sure if these will be added or they won't be added or if it's just all too late already, but these are some additions that I would have wanted in a Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So for me, I would want more bingo battle maps because the bingo battle feature was one of the funnest multiplayer experiences I had on the Wii U, honestly. It was so fun to do, like, what, capture the flag or defeat the Pikmin. Like, the goals in that game were so fun, and doing the actual bingo boards where you have to bring certain items back to your onion in order to complete the board. That was so smart and something so new that I really haven't seen in any other games before. So I would want more bingo battle maps to explore. Maybe they can rework certain mission areas to do that. But for now, I can just wish for that. But my bigger wish on this, I guess, wish list, you can say, is an online component. Pikmin 3 Deluxe needs an online component, whether it's just for the bingo battle or the additional side missions that go for the time trials and whatnot. I think doing that online would be very cool because I really felt like that was lacking, especially for bingo battle, because an online multiplayer type component, aside from just leaderboards and showing your high score on a level, would have been awesome to see. It doesn't seem like they're going to add that in Pikmin 3 Deluxe, but a dude can dream. Another addition I would have wanted was a new game plus where you can pick any captain at the start of the game. You don't have to follow the story. Like a new game plus would be so fun. Like you just basically break the game structure with all the items and equipment or just route thinkings you would do. However, something similar to that is added because a level, not a level select, a difficulty select is involved with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. So you can try easy, medium, or hard, I would suppose. So I guess in a way, that would be a new game plus. But in my mind, a new game plus should try to change the gameplay entirely. Try to break structure, try to convince the player to do other things that you wouldn't normally do in a regular run. If you understand what I'm putting down. And my last wanted addition would be some new creatures, like a new boss battle maybe, or some mission maps, because I know all the DLC maps will be included in the deluxe port, but I think adding new ones would also be very fun. And not new ones to pay for, but I think they should be added as a part of the deluxe pack. Like, let's try to make this actually a deluxe package, if you know what I'm saying. Those are just some of my additions that I would have wanted in the game. However, they may or may not be included. Maybe in Pikmin 4 these can be implemented. However, for now, this is what we're getting. This is Pikmin 3 Deluxe, and I really hope it sells well and it does well, because 2020 has been one of the most lackluster years when it comes to game releases, at least on the Nintendo side of things, because I know Sony and Microsoft have had many exciting presentations and games come out, but Nintendo really needs to get things going. And I understand this pandemic is a huge slowdown on development, but it seems like other companies like Bandai Namco and Sony, Microsoft have been developing games at a steady pace. However, it all affects different companies differently, so I am understanding of that. I just hope that Pikmin 3 Deluxe sells well so we can get Pikmin 4, and honestly that's all I'm just hoping for. Pikmin 4 would be phenomenal. Maybe some re-releases of 1 and 2 HD remasters, I hope, but above all, I just hope that this year can end in a better way. Maybe a Nintendo Direct, because it's weird that this wasn't involved in a Nintendo Direct. Like, it's definitely Nintendo Direct worthy, but hopefully the next Nintendo Direct we actually get will maybe announce Pikmin 4 or something, just something to grab onto. Either way, that's my discussion video. Those are my thoughts on Pikmin 3 Deluxe being released. So go in the comments and please tell me what you think. Do you want a Pikmin 4? Do you think the Deluxe port is just a lazy idea to get more money from us? Should it be cheaper? Please tell me what you think, and I hope to see you guys next time. See you later, and don't forget to keep on keeping on.